don't know about you guys, but for me, growing up, there weren't a whole lot of conversations about finances, how to budget or plan, how to improve your debt, how to eliminate your debt, how to improve your credit score. These are all the things that I wish I was able to have had someone to share very valuable insights that could have saved me so much time from going through life and it taking all of adulthood to try to really get it together. And for that reason, you guys, because I love you, I have brought a good friend here today who is an expert in all the things and is going to ensure that you leave here better than you came in when it comes to your understanding of your financial situation. Because here's the thing, right now, we live in a time where people have astronomical, record high levels of debt.
Mm-hmm.
It is unsustainable and it makes us slaves to our debtors. And this is about breaking free from all of that. You guys know that I'm your host, LaShay LaRue, your business coach for this season of Growth and Prosperity. And we are watching Entrepreneurship Now. And today I have a special entrepreneur, Kym, who does all things financial literacy and really helping you guys to build a portfolio. But I cannot even begin to do her justice. So Kym, say hi to everyone and tell them more about what it is that you do.
Hello, what an honor, LaShay. This is absolutely amazing. I'm so privileged to be sitting here with you to share what it is that drives me and my passion to serve others. So, you mentioned the financial services industry that, yes, my husband and I have come together to build an empire that is focused on serving others. And we, of course, serve our Heavenly Father in the kingdom and making sure that people have what they need when it comes to their money. We firmly believe that everybody has the God-given right to live with dignity when it comes to their money, and nobody should be ashamed, suffering in silence. So we meet people where they're at. We understand, we've mostly been there. A lot of people have been there. This didn't just come about. It wasn't just an industry that we thought, oh, this is a great industry, let's get into it. There's a lot of history there. He and I both come from pretty humble beginnings. There was not a lot of abundance in the way of extra things or extra money. And, we had made it in our careers, both former military. We hit the executive ranks of government service. And just to one day finally look back and go, we've been away from our family a lot. We've been working a lot, and we still don't have anything to show for all of that time that we spent away. You can have a 401k and you can have investments, but you can't get the time that was spent back, the time that you were away from your families. So when we were very prayerful over what our next move was and what we wanted to do, an opportunity to own a franchise in the financial services industry came to us. And it wasn't long before that I had suffered a very difficult divorce. It financially annihilated me. I understood that there's such a thing called financial abuse, and I was a victim of that, and I didn't understand what was happening in my own personal money. So you get through that and you move on, but then now I had an opportunity to go out and help the very people like me when I was going through it. So a lot of prayer, a lot of faith. We walked away, both of us, from very high paying 6-figure incomes to start a business serving other people. And we just designated Jesus as our CEO, and here we are today.
That was the thing that connected me to you from when we first met. I love your spirit and passion for the Lord, and I love your story because it is one of transcendence beyond the experience, right? We all have things in life that happen, a lot of things that make you not want to get up, but the only time that the enemy wins is when you give up. to be
Yeah.
completely honest. And a lot of times people think of Christians as these people who are holier than thou and trying
Mm.
to be perfect all the time, and they don't go through stuff. And if you are going through something, well, it's probably something that's wrong with you. And it's just like,
Yeah.
we're people just like everybody else. Like,
Absolutely.
we're
Absolutely.
everyday people. And
Yeah.
I want to dig a bit deeper into something
Mhm.
that I find so uniquely special about you, because you had the unfortunate experience of going through a divorce, which is, I
Mhm.
could only imagine how difficult that was for you. And you came out on the other side with a family owned and operated business. And
Mhm.
that is definitely something that is on my, I won't even say bucket list, because that makes it like a thing that we don't ever really plan on it happening, but that's
Yeah.
definitely something that I
Yeah.
aspire to. So I want you to talk a bit more about what that experience was like for you.
When I was a kid, I think I've always been entrepreneurial. Um, but I remember as a kid thinking I wanted to have a business, and I would do things like I would wash the neighbor's steps. It was, I would wash her steps for $10. And I would ask another neighbor, "Hey, I'm washing Mrs. So and so steps. Can I do yours?" And then just kind of creating a little client base. But here's where I really kind of noticed something about myself is when I was gone and I couldn't do those things, I would ask other neighbor kids if they would take on that responsibility. And if they got the $10, then they had to give me $2 because I was the one who referred them. So now I'm this little kid washing steps, employing other people and the kids, and they win and I win. And obviously we have clients. So I was talking to my mom not long ago about that. And it's funny that I had that in my head and just little things throughout my life. I've been again military and then government service, and I was an employee, but I also on the side of that owned a real estate investment company where I owned 9 homes. So there was always something in the background. There was always something kind of churning. Like I said, this opportunity came to us. And when I really started to think about it and dig in, entrepreneurship is it's more than just being a business owner. And I think we confuse the words a little bit. I think there's entrepreneurship, I think there's intrapreneurship, and I think there's solopreneurship. And we have to understand what that means. An entrepreneur is somebody, it's a problem solver. It's creating a solution for a problem. The solution doesn't exist. I'm going to go out and I'm going to create something that doesn't already exist, and I'm going to be the pioneer for that. That's entrepreneurship. The Bezos, anybody who has created this disruption in an industry, right? Amazon was a disruption to the retail industry and it didn't exist, but now we have online purchasing that other companies have now followed suit. Entrepreneurship is joining or becoming a part of a system that already exists. So like in my industry, financial services, all of the systems are already there. So it would be foolish of me to go and reinvent something that's already been created instead of leveraging what's there and mastered and then going ahead and implementing that into my brokerage. And then solopreneurship, the people who don't want to work for anybody or really don't have any interest in anybody working for them. Maybe they want to be a hairdresser and have a salon suite, and work a few days out of the week. But once you understand entrepreneur, intrapreneur, solopreneur, then you can really attack your goals. Then you can go after what exactly it is that you're trying to accomplish. And those goals become so much clearer. I'm not spending time reinventing the wheel. I'm using what's available. Or this isn't out there at all. I need a development team to help me strategically put something together that will be a value add to others. So
I love the
carving
way
that
that
out.
you broke that down. That was so perfect, because there are a lot of people who perceive entrepreneurship as just one way, as just one
Mhm.
opportunity, as just one path. And they struggle a lot of times because that path is not true to
Right.
their capabilities, desires, or goals. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of tension constantly for them and trying to operate their business. I won't even get to growing their business, but just in operating their
Yeah.
business and staying afloat, And I think if people took some time to do a little bit of self-reflection before
Yeah.
they just jumped into entrepreneurship to decide what path truly makes the most sense for them,
Mhm.
not what you see somebody else do over
Right.
there, not what you've seen somebody else do on social media, but realistically, because at the end of the day, no matter what direction you go in, the buck stops with you, right?
Absolutely.
You're the person
Mhm.
who has to do the work. If you decide to go the route of entrepreneurship, you are responsible for managing those people. But let me
Yeah.
tell you, it's not
Yeah.
the easiest thing. It really and truly isn't. And if you decide to go solopreneur, great. But do understand you're responsible for fulfilling 100% of that work, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be ready to
Absolutely.
do that. So I love that you did that breakdown. Now, as a part of your team, because you are a husband and wife powerhouse,
Mhm.
share with me, what's that like working with your husband?
I have the most wonderful opportunity to work and build something with my husband that our children and their children and their children will continue to benefit from. This was truly a legacy thing for us. This is something that we didn't want to just stop with us. As we were building it, our children were relatively young, and so they really watched us grow into this, and they knew that the long term outcome would be to benefit them. You know, when I said I had my previous career, I did great. We made a lot of money. We did a lot of things, but I didn't have anything to hand them at the end of it. This will continue to grow. This book of business will continue to go. If they wanted to, they can sell it, they can inherit it, they can diversify it. There's a lot of things that they can do with it. So for me, if you're going to work that many years, then you should have something to give to your legacy. There should be something to show for it. And that's not for everyone. You know, some people are very, I just want to go to work, retire, live a few years, and give my children an inheritance. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's also biblical. Um, but for us, we believe so passionately that people deserve the services we provide. They don't know that it exists. They're suffering from finances. Marriages are being fractured, and we can help. We can help mend these things. So the long-term value of what we do, the fact that it can keep going, that was the benefit. And spiritually, my husband and I are both spiritually aligned. We wanted to do this together. We believe that you can go to work and he can go to work and you can grow in your own goals, or you can build something together and grow together, and your children and family are witness to that. I think there's strength in partnership. Is it easy? No. Is it flawless? No. Do we fight? Absolutely. But over the years, over the last 13 years, we've understood communication is critical. If he has an up day, but I have a down day, then we're gonna talk about that, and vice versa. But we have also decided that we will both not have a bad day on the same day. One of us always has to be up. One of us is always going to be here. And we pray with each other and we ask for the Lord's guidance. And sometimes, LaShay, he puts us on pause and he'll say, I need you to sit in the silence for a while. I need you to pause. You're trying to spin too many plates. I need you to be at rest with me. And knowing to tune into that is probably the most difficult, because high achieving, ambitious people can get caught up in the ways of the world when our Father simply just wants us to rest.
Yes, I can attest to that. God has sat me down so many times over the past few years. And as you described it, a high achieving person who's used to being on go, 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 go mode, set a
Yeah.
goal, accomplish a goal, set the next goal, and keep it moving. It was difficult. It was
Yeah.
very, very difficult, way
Yeah.
more difficult than I ever thought, because we live in a culture where everyone is chasing the next vacation, right?
Mhm.
This moment of achievement when you can receive rest, but real rest comes from the Lord. And real
Yeah.
rest does not have to be earned. Real rest
Yeah.
very often is the thing that you need to do in order to truly achieve and accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, because
Yeah.
we are overstimulated.
Mhm.
Okay. You don't have to be on anybody's spectrum for that. As a culture in America, if you are here, you are stimulated. I was talking with a friend fairly recently, and we came up in the conversation about how back in the day, homes used to have sitting rooms, right? Like a room for sitting,
Sitting,
like
no TV.
just just sitting. That's it. That was the activity,
Yeah.
to just sit
Uh-huh.
there. And to think about now, half of the population can't even sit on the toilet without a device in their hand,
Isn't
right?
isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? That's weird. Yeah.
That like constantly you go to sleep with it in your hand, you wake up with it in your hand, you're reaching
Mhm.
for it throughout the day. And I'm guilty because I have my phone right here, my computer screen here, my second screen there. Like, we are overstimulated, and we have to be intentional
Mhm.
about making the time for rest and rest with God. And I
Yeah.
stress that point because there's this belief that we have to find time, right? It's not going to magically pop up. I've never found a lost minute. Okay.
Mhm.
Never found a lost minute, but I can make time by prioritizing
Yeah.
what I know is most important. And that is me being able to give my mind that break, that reset. And ever since
Right.
I started prioritizing that, everything flows so much easier.
Yep.
I mean, things that had taken me months to mentally work out, and me coming up with plans and then reevaluating
Yeah.
and feeling like I'm starting over time and time again, just all of a sudden became a thing of the past. One thing that I actually recently did was setting up a war room. So I
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
actual prayer closet that I now use because it's something about being able to close that door and like mentally and physically be able to see I am cut off from the world. Like, this is God's time right now, and I'm not going to let anything else kind of come in and interrupt that. So I want you to share with the audience something that you do in order to help you stay grounded.
Well, I have really forced myself to first thing in the morning, drink water, replenish, and I sit outside. Not only is it healthy to get that vitamin D and the sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning, but when you're sitting out and you're just kind of taking it all in, and I live in Arizona, so it is 90 degrees in the morning. It really does kind of open up your senses to hearing the birds, to when there's wind, you can hear the trees, those little tiny things that sometimes we just kind of go through life and we forget that we are surrounded by beauty, that every single thing has been created by our Lord and Savior, that they are for us to enjoy. We have a tendency as human beings to destroy the things that are around us. Instead, we have to just stop and look at the sky and the trees and the water. I have my fountain running, and these little things. I think that because I start my day doing that, I have little reminders throughout the day that I stop and just thank God. Thank you for the air in my lungs, for the beating of my heart, for the sound of mine. Please control my thoughts, my words, my actions, my steps, for I am your humble servant. Guide me. Who am I supposed to speak for or to and serve today? So getting out of my own way. There are a lot of things to do out there. Business is going to get done, but just stopping and saying, what am I supposed to do today? It's interesting. I just put out a new Substack article today on devices, on how they control us. The root word of device is vice. And what does that break down to? And what does that actually mean? And it's fun, as you were talking, I just posted that this morning.
Look at God working. He knew
That's
we
what
needed to talk
he's
about this.
connected.
He knew the conversation needed to be had, and it's a lot of conversations that need to be had that we're not. So many of the conversations that are being had right now are divisive. Their whole
Yeah,
purpose is on talking about what makes me different than you, what makes me better
absolutely.
than you, what,
Yep.
just all of these things that just
100%.
tears down the other person. And in reality, it also tears down the person who is throwing out those
Yeah.
claims or accusatory statements. So I thank you for coming here today and having a more positive conversation, something that is edifying, something that can truly uplift our viewers. Now, I want to shift gears really quick because I want to talk about the business because you have built something amazing. Okay. You have built something that is truly a legacy business that you will leave behind. Because again, with the solopreneur, you are the business. When you're gone, that's just kind
Mhm.
of it, right? Most
Yeah.
people leave, it's money. So I want you to share with our audience what is the most successful system that you have implemented in your business that has helped you to solidify your legacy?
Wow, that's such a great question. So, one of the things that you have to learn as a business owner is delegation. One of the absolute most critical things that you have to decide is who can I delegate to? What are the top three things? What is the number one thing, LaShay, that your business requires you to do? Nobody else can do that. What is the only thing that you can do? You're the only one. And then from there, what is the second most important thing that nobody else can do but you? You are the only one. And there might even be a third. Outside of that, who can I delegate to? Do I need a VA? Do I need an office manager? Do I need a personal assistant? Who can I delegate those things to? Which forces us to invest in our business, right? We have to invest in our business. We have to put money out there for it to make its way back to us. We can't hoard it. We can't just cling on to it. So we have to do the things that we specialize and delegate everything else. For us, as we were building an enterprise, we wanted to bring in agents just like us. Do they have the passion to serve others like us? Are they committed to growth? Do they feel that every single household across America deserves the right to financial independence? So we had through that process, you can weed out the people who are just here to make money. There are places for them. It is not hold fast financial. This is a servant leadership mentality. And so those agents that we brought in, coaching them, teaching them, pouring into them, making sure that they have all of the systems right at their fingertips so that they too can be successful. If this is a system-based franchise. Everything we do, we have a very, very sophisticated CRM. We have all of our back end stuff. How do we follow up with a client? How do you have a concierge type experience for your client? The feedback, everything from soup to nuts. We really do have it all. They just need to plug into that and make sure that they're serving people. So because we were so clear on our vision, this is hold fast. This is who Tom and Kym Welton are. This is what you will do while you're here and what we can expect from you, what you can expect for us. Is this a good fit for you? Are you a good fit for us? And really, again, making sure that everybody is a good fit for each other. You can't just bring people into your business unless you don't have any vested interest in them or they have none in you. Maybe you want to just go through the numbers. Maybe you want to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. That's not our business philosophy. Because we're here to serve, we need the right people, and that legacy will continue. It's a culture. It is a non-negotiable culture, and that is what we have continued to do the last 13 years.
I'm so glad that's the way that you chose to answer that question because that's something that I've even realized recently in my business as well. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times we think and we know the importance of certain positions, making sure you emphasize culture and structure. But I've realized it's important across the board. So even my VAs, I have started implementing that as a part of our conversation, talking about the mission of the business and talking about the clients and the results that
Yes.
we're seeing, and so that they can see the real impact and see the mission come to life. And like, this is why we do the work that we do. And for them to understand that the work that they do allows me to go out and do what I need to for these clients. And
Absolutely.
I have seen a big boost in morale. Not that morale was down, but you can just
Mhm.
see it in their face that they're excited about these
Yeah.
things, and also empowering them to take ownership over the tasks that I'm giving to them and not just perform a list of tasks, but to actually allow them to take ownership and
Oh,
challenge
yeah.
them to become better at what it is I've asked them to do. Go do social media research, look at some competitors' accounts, and then you come to me with 3 ideas of things that you want to
Absolutely.
try on our social profile that will allow us to get better results, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely am glad that you addressed that in that way, because there are some people out there who are hiring and frustrated because it just does not seem like it is working. And there are some people who are afraid of hiring, like we talked about solopreneurs. Some people stay in the solopreneur position just because of the fear of
Yeah.
how to manage people and what
Oh,
that looks like. And if you're intentional about it, it's not as difficult as we make it out to be. You just have to
mhm.
be systematic about that approach.
Right. And your vision should be repeatable. Your vision,
Yes,
they should all be able to see it, say, what's the vision? What are we doing here? Without a vision, the people will perish. What are we
yes,
looking for together? We are
yes.
moving in this direction together. And the more of us we have, the more powerful of an impact we'll have. So, absolutely. Absolutely.
Kim, as always, I have enjoyed this conversation. You always share
Mhm.
such a wealth of knowledge that is backed by spiritual wisdom. And I just love
Thank you.
soaking it up. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So, thank you for coming here today. You
Yeah.
guys, I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have. I will make sure that you have all of Kim's contact information down in the show notes, because I want you guys to reach out to her, because her family has built a business with the mission of providing financial security for people and financial literacy. And she has tons of resources for you guys to be able to access. So
Amen.
make sure you reach out to her. But until next time, bye, my cherished loves.